Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining today. Hopefully you can hear me well. And we actually have probably quite a good number of people connected live with us as we speak. And we're going to have some people joining us later on, watching it on demand because they might not be able to join live. So thank you as well for you that are joining afterwards. Basically, I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Fabio Raimondi. I'm part of the Google Partner team based in Milan. And the goal of today is to give you a bit of an overview of the famed Google Partner Certification Kickstart for Cloud Architects. We're waiting a few more seconds to allow everybody to join. Today, we're going to have people connected from all over the EMEA region, so Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We have people joining from the coasts of the Mediterranean to the vast lands of Russia, Central Europe, Nordics, you name it, South Africa. So we have quite an heterogeneous bunch. And hopefully this diversity is going to be brought into the program as well. And you're going to be able to benefit and leverage the experience of people coming from such a varied type of background. So I think the enthusiasm for this type of initiative is quite high, judging from the number of messages that I've received over the past few months. And I'm very, very happy about it. It's been a large effort for Google. Quite a lot of resources, economical and human resources, are poured into this program. So really, I want to incentivize you to make the most of it. Really invest in it, leverage it, because we listen to the feedback of partners that took the Cloud Architect certification as well as other ones in the past. And the concerns were very relatable. People felt that they didn't have enough support. They had to just self-study the material. They didn't really have somebody to turn to ask questions in a quick and reliable way. And these yielded suboptimal results at the examination time. So hopefully we're going to be able to address this and be much more helpful for all of you taking part in this cohort. And this being said, I'm going to quickly share my screen so we can see exactly what we're going to talk about today. Hopefully you're seeing right now. And the general topics of the day are going to have to do with a quick introduction of the faces that you'll see most commonly during these weeks that we'll be working together, and a quick overview about why does it make sense to get Google certified. I don't want to spend too much time in this point, especially because I've seen the interest and enthusiasm raised from people that were nominated to participate in this program. But it is also true that there's people coming from very different backgrounds. Some of you might have already studied the material and tried the test, and maybe it didn't go as desired, so you're doing this a second time. And there might be somebody who is facing these topics for the very, very first time. Although theoretically, there's a degree of experience in the cloud industry prior to this kind of certification. So we have people with different levels. We want to make sure that we bring everybody on the same page up to speed so that we have a common background to build on. And this is why we're going to address both the reasons for certifications and the types of certifications, so that you have a little bit of a background and context about the main topic of this course and this conversation, of course, as well. And then we're going to move into the more juicy part, the one that most likely you're interested in and the real reason why you're connected today. So we're going to look into the program that is going to unfold over the following weeks, its main tenets, the main resources that you can rely on. And we're going to move from that into some of the questions that you raised before the conversation today and that were raised from your colleagues in other regions of the world. We're going to end the day with some concrete next steps, so you know exactly what to do the moment that you close this webinar. And actually, we might start doing it already before the end of the webinar. And we're going to leave some time for additional questions that might pop into your head during this conversation and that you find are not being answered yet in the material that we're going to present. In the same page that you're looking at right now, you should have the possibility to ask questions. So at the end, we're going to review them. Maybe hold back for a second to see if they're already addressed during the normal conversation, but in case they're not, please feel free to answer them. We're going to try to address them either live or as a follow-up. This being said, let's move on. Main faces you're going to see, of course, I reintroduced myself, but one of the persons that you're going to see more often, interact more often, is Guy Roth. He's a partner engineer based in Israel, and he's going to be part of the office hours they are going to take part in. He's going to be able to help you around the trickier aspects of the material, and really a pivotal aspect. There's too many other persons behind this program to present them one by one. As they say, it takes a village to make a big program or big effort work. So there's a number of people, from coordinators in the US of the program, making sure that it's scaled out, from customer engineers in EMEA that's going to support with their technical knowledge Guy and yourselves throughout the program. There's a marketing team, there's a production team that created, for example, the pages that you're accessing the webinar from, and so on. And of course, there's all the participants, the real core of the team that's going to make this course a success or a failure. Right now, we have approximately 600 persons that were nominated, and we hope that as many as possible of them are going to sign up for the program. And of those that sign up for the program and actually enroll to do the journey together, we hope that 100% is going to certify. Not because there's any guarantee of that, it's just that if we do our job well in supporting you and you do your part in the putting in the commitment and the effort, there's very good chances that happens. No guarantee, but compared to taking the cloud architect certification by yourself with no support, this is an amazing opportunity to maximize your chances of conversion and to maximize the number of certified professionals as well. So hopefully this is how things are going to unfold. Then we said, why does it make sense to even talk about getting Google certified? Mainly here, there's a quote from an engineer of Rackspace. If we had to synthesize it, it revolves around two aspects: understanding and experience. I'll try to clarify any acronym for anybody who is not familiar. GCP is Google Cloud Platform, is our range of offering that goes from IaaS to PaaS to networking, a number of solutions that help companies change their business model and make sense of their data. And what we're trying to do with this course is give you both the theory behind the possible projects or the workloads or the architectures, and at the same time make you do practice that's proved and, let's say, stamped through this certification. You might already have it, but this is kind of a guarantee of quality to the external world as well. I don't want to kill you by quote overdose, but here's a couple more references from other partners, Rackspace, SHI, that reiterate the same concept. If I have to keep it simple and suggest something to remember, in short, getting certified helps to develop know-how, lead effectively and successfully projects, which is the main goal that we all have as part of the broader Google Cloud team. And as a result of that, have satisfied and loyal customers, make your company happy, and be successful in the market. There's, of course, some direct benefits on top of the external ones towards the customers and successful completion of projects. There's the possibility to keep or achieve partner status. You might be a member as of right now, not yet partner, so you get certified to become a partner, or your company might be a partner that's looking to become a premier partner. So certifications help in both these efforts. Of course, it's important to stay competitive. You show that you have some validated skills and that these skills are very concretely applicable to real-world challenges and projects and situations. And then, of course, there's a possibility to boost your career. We'll look more in detail in each of these areas. Again, touching reasonably quickly, but making sure that everybody's on the same page. So keeping partner status. As some of you already know, there's different types of certifications. They typically revolve around different products. So you can see the GCP one in the top left, that's surrounded, let's say, with a dotted line. There's the Chrome deployment, G Suite deployment, Maps deployment, and then there's the non-technical certifications, the sales credentials. So as of today, there's 2 certifications required in any product to become partner, and there's 8 or more certifications to become premier partner. Some of you might have already attended last week the 2019 Partner Advantage presentation, which shows how these requirements are going to increase in the next year, depending on 3 courses, let's say 3 tracks. The Sell, which is going to be focused on sales and technical credentials, 2 and 2 for partner, 20 for premier. Service, where judging from a quick poll, most of you are belonging to, which will have 12 certifications or one specialization in 10 certification, or 2 specialization for premiership, and then 2 per region. So there's an introduction of geographical region as well. And then the build, which is what's now called technical track, which focuses instead on product integration that run on GCP. So generally speaking, if you have to remember one thing, the certifications are beneficial for your partnership status, achieving it, maintaining it, increasing it. Staying competitive. Of course, one might ask, does it really make sense to invest this much effort in cloud? So first of all, you're in this industry, so hopefully you already believe that the answer is yes. Data luckily supports us. There's 72% of organizations that are stating that they're not past the exploratory phase on cloud, which means that most of them have even barely started putting their head on it, and the remaining 28% still has probably vast majority of their application or their data not running on cloud. This represents a massive greenfield, a massive business opportunity for all of us that's up for grab. And the next step is, okay, what's needed to grab this opportunity? Is it more marketing? Is it more sales? Sure. But the stated #1 challenge is lack of resources and expertise. So all these companies that are looking to consider cloud solutions, they're looking to revolutionize their business model and remain competitive through cloud solutions. What they're really looking for is expertise and technical resources. So again, you're in the sweet spot where you have a unique opportunity to make a difference for your customers, for your company, and for the market. So definitely relevant. And hopefully we're going to be able to help with these development or validation of skills. And finally, of course, this helps with the specializations. And we're going to see a little bit later how that works. But basically, it's an additional validation of the competence of a partner in a certain area. Boost your careers. This is your own direct benefit. Both data engineer and solution architect are stated by Randstad, which is a massive HR company, which is publicly a Google Cloud customer, by the way, and by LinkedIn as the top most interesting or most promising jobs in the last 2 years. So very interesting to get certified in these areas and market to the rest of the world. Can be your customers, can be your company, anybody interested that you have these skills. And then once again, as we're mentioning, what are we talking about when we mention certifications? There's a first step, technical certifications on GCP. There's a first step, which is called Associate Cloud Engineer, which is a bit more basic, typically assumes, let's say, 6 months of work experience in the area. And as a second step, we have 2 main certifications that we see here. On the left, you have this Cloud Architect, which is the one that we're going to talk about today and in the coming weeks. This is key for a number of specializations: cloud migration, infrastructure, application development, security. They all required 4 different Cloud Architect certifications. So if you have, let's say, your company specializing in cloud migration and in application development, you will need 8 Cloud Architects. And then there's location-based, that instead has the option of 2 Cloud Architects or 2 data engineers. The other side of the word, and a program that if this one is successful and we're able to help you get certified in very high percentages, we might be able to roll out in the future, is the data engineer certification, which is key instead for 2 specialization, data analytics and machine learning, and is together with Cloud Architect an option for the location-based. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the main reason why you connected today. What is this famous Partner Certification Kickstart program all about? So at the core of it and the ultimate goal is the exam for Cloud Architect. So getting you certified is the ultimate goal. How is this going to happen? There's a first component, which is self-study. You might remember I mentioned at the beginning that if you were not to take part in this program, what you would do is just access some paid Coursera trainings, do your learning online in your own time, not get direct support through additional resources, and then you take the exam. So there's still the self-study component. This is absolutely key, but it's going to be supported in a number of ways. First of all, you'll have free credits, so free access to both Coursera, Quick Labs, and some Code Labs learning material. You're going to see that more in detail in a second. There's going to be some weekly emails coming to you to help you keep track of where you are and give you some tips and tricks. Very important, there's going to be the office hours, where partners and customer engineers will give you context, help you practice, answer questions. And there's going to be a community which is going to have both technical professionals from Google and all the participants in the course, where you can have discussions, clarify gray areas, ask questions or have them answered, and put your own expertise as a common factor at the benefit of the rest of the participants. So you can leverage the brains of hopefully 600 persons rather than your own or only the Google technical professionals. Of course, there's no guarantee of certification. You have to use these resources and your work experience to prepare. It's an important disclaimer to have. Sometimes there's some misunderstandings. It's pretty straightforward. This is a support program that helps you prepare for the exam. It's not something that automatically ticks a series of boxes, and after these boxes are ticked, you're certified for the exam. Now, putting these pieces together, how is it going to look? Basically, we're at the preparation stage. You might see in the blue, there's the Kickstart webinar. And then for the next 5 weeks, the program is going to unfold with a number of activities. There's going to be the green part, which is the self-study, the office hours, the emails, and the forums that we mentioned. The 5th week is going to be highly focused on practice. So the first 4 weeks are more focused on theory learning and practice on the theory that's been learned. 5th week is really focused on preparation. And then starting from the 6th week, you're going to have the possibility to take the exam. The exam is not part of this program. As we said, this is a support function. So it's still booked through the normal testing centers. We're going to see that later on in this conversation, but please don't forget that this is an important part to take care of from, like taking initiative on your own on this aspect. Now, the self-study piece of it. What is it in concrete? How does it look like? What should you expect? Basically, you're going to have access to online tools and materials from Coursera mainly, which is integrated with additional resources like Quick Labs. Coursera has basically 6 main courses or tracks, if you like, focus on different areas. You're going to have some videos, some reading material, and some quizzes related to this material to make sure that the knowledge you're absorbing is ingrained. And then you have the possibility, again, as we said, to practice. Practice being a key component of the course. So Quick Labs or Code Labs are integrated in the Coursera material, and you're going to have, in the case of Quick Labs, access to actual credentials to enter a GCP, Google Cloud Platform environment, and you're going to have a list of instructions to perform some tasks. You can follow these instructions and use real, actual GCP resources live in the real world. If you're using some Code Labs tests, practice, again, part of the program, so you don't need to write this down anywhere. You're just going to follow the flow. You're going to have access to a demo or trial environment where you're going to be able, again, to follow some instructions and practice what you learned in theory. If we put this together with a timeline, the first official week is going to be starting the 1st of October. You can see here a rough estimate of the amount of time that's expected to be allocated in these weeks for different tracks, the different courses, as well as the practice and the final examination. Now, we're not fooling ourselves. This is quite an interesting and significant time commitment. The important piece to remember is that requires commitment from your side as well, but it's something that needs to happen sooner or later. The question is only, will it happen now in a supported way with a program around you that helps you make the most of it? Or is it going to happen at a later stage without this kind of support? So my advice would be plan ahead. You have a rough indication of this timeline and time to be allocated. You're going to receive these material after the conversation so you can review it. Plan with your managers, with your organizations, with the projects that you're in. Do prioritize this. It's super important for the success of your own course, the program, your organization, Google Cloud as a whole, and the market, of course. So absolutely important that we plan ahead and organize around these actual commitments. And as you can see, after the week of October 29th to November the 2nd, there's going to be the possibility to take the exam starting from week 6. Again, the availability depends on dates and locations that are available to you. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the weekly emails. You'll get some additional information. You'll be able to track where you are and get some tips and tricks. Office hours, as we said, absolutely a key part of this program. What's going to happen during these office hours? You'll get a recap of the previous week's learnings. Very important to complete the self-study material beforehand. So, for example, if the first office hours are on October the 4th, on the first week, super important to either use the earlier days of the week or start the week before to prepare and read the material, do the exercises so that you get to the office hours. It's not a lesson, it's not a teaching moment, it's a review moment. It's the moment to surface the questions, concerns, the aspects that are not that clear. And of course, to preview also what comes next so that you have context about where you're coming from and where you're moving into. And of course, insights and trickier topics are very welcome because that's the additional value that the office hours can bring. What are these office hours going to be about concretely? In the first week, there's going to be, of course, the first part of the ramping of the course. So you're going to have some from fundamentals to products review. Then it's going to move to solutions, then to production, following a natural logical flow. And then there's going to be most of the time invested into practicing and getting ready for the exam. This is a rough timeline of the live support in the office hours. And the community forum is basically a non-live support forum. I already mentioned before that all the participants in the program will be able to share both questions and answers to questions that might be within the community. I encourage you to do interact with each other, to do bring your own experience. Again, we're coming from a very, very geographically and project-wise broad region, and each of you might have unique insights or unique experiences on actual projects that others have not stumbled upon yet. So putting this as a common factor might make the difference between you getting certified or not. There's going to be discussions. Questions are monitored daily, so they're not going to sit there for 2 months. And there's going to be an email just in case you don't get answers in the office hours or in the forum. There's still a third channel to go and get feedback or get your questions answered. And eventually, after these, the exam is going to take place. Now, what does the exam concretely constitute into? The goal is to demonstrate the ability to show the skills for the role. It must be taken in person in one of the testing center's locations. I'm going to give you the link to check the locations and the dates and encourage you to sign up as soon as possible. It's in a multiple choice format, takes about 2 hours, and the registration fee might vary between country and country, but is roughly directionally around $200. Also, there's going to be plenty of discussions on the specifics of the exam during the office hours. So if something is not clear yet, don't worry. That's a big starting phase of the program. There's going to be plenty of time to address the small print for the exam. And finally, at Google, we like to work hard and play hard as well. So we want it to be a little bit playful and recognize you with some swag so that you have the possibility to, let's say, wear on your sleeve, metaphorically speaking, your participation to the program and your certification as well. Now, moving into the main questions that we received. The first was about the degree of depth of the topics covered in the program. So this is, as we said, an exam that assumes some previous work experience. Nevertheless, it will touch upon all the basics of the products. As we said, think about the office hours from fundamentals to products. It's not going to start in 5th gear, right? But at the same time, it will develop solid knowledge, which is actually very much needed for the exam. And the idea is that by the end of it, you should be able to actually contribute to real projects within your company, being prepared and knowledgeable on the topics treated in the course. So the answer is both in a way. Like it will cover the basics, but it will assume that you're able to scale from there into in-depth knowledge. Then another question was rightfully asked about the, let's say, updating of the material. GCP products evolve very fast, as the whole market does. And as a consequence, it's not always easy to have the latest releases and features integrated in all the material. Now, what's guaranteed is that the studying material and the exam are aligned one with another, so they're up to date to one with another, and they're not too outdated. So typically, it's hard to put a finger on it because there's a lot of third parties involved. But roughly speaking, anything which was released 2 to 3 months ago should be included in the program. There might not be yesterday's new release, but it's fairly up to date. So don't worry, we're not gonna go over material that's 2 years old and not applicable anymore. And another question was about the practicality and the concrete exercises encountered during the training. The answer, as we mentioned, is high abundance of practice and activities and exercises on top of the theoretical learning. Cost of the program, it's free, the Cloud Architect Kickstart program. So we're investing our own time and our own economic resources for the vouchers. The only thing that's not covered is the exams with the cost that we mentioned before. Some additional questions, the validity of certification, it might vary, but if it's not specified differently, it's 2 years from the certification date. Again, the reason for that is easily understood. The platform evolves, the products evolve, the pain points evolve. 2 years from now, the scenario and the landscape might be quite different. So it's important to keep up to date with that. What happens if the certification exam doesn't go well the first time? So it's possible to try it again, but it's important to try it again in a mindful way. Every time it's taken, the time then needs to be weighted before an additional attempt can be made, lengthens. So at the beginning it's 14 days, then 60 days before you can take it a third time, and so on and so forth. So it is possible. We will probably have some people taking part in this course that have already tried and didn't go well the first time. So absolutely welcome to hone your skills and cover a few areas that maybe weren't clear, but make sure that you arrive to the exam as prepared as possible. There's no section feedback on the exam, so you're going to get a pass or no pass feedback, and this is due to the design of the examination itself, which is not meant to tell specifically in a very granular way where the person did wrong, is to test the general preparation of the person on all the topics. And there might be a small number not apparent to the test taker of questions that are not scored for the purpose of the pass or no pass feedback of the exam. And this is simply to evaluate effectiveness and refine the exams, keep them up to date, keep them relevant. It's a normal practice in the testing industry. Perfect. This said, I'm gonna return to my screen. Hopefully you can see me. Oh, actually, no, I forgot the most important part. One of the most important parts, the next steps. So let me come back to you. Here we go. So what happens now? You've listened to these, let's say, motivation as for why attending the program. You've seen how it will unfold, what the certifications are, clarify some questions. What should you do now? So the first thing that you should do is sign up for the program itself. So when you register for this webinar, you flagged your interest to know more about it. Now it's time for you to say, okay, makes sense. I see the value in it. I think it gives me an edge compared to getting the certification by myself. I want to sign in. How do I enroll? You follow this short link that I put here on the screen. I'll give you a few seconds to note it or type it in your URL or write down on a notepad, whatever you prefer. Grab the screenshot, whatever is the case. You're going to access a page that I'm going to show you in a second where you're going to be able to enroll, adding a few information. This should be the page you're prompted to. It's the landing page of the program. Quite straightforward. Enroll now. It prompts you to input some information for yourself, and then you click enroll again. This is the first step. Secondly, as we said, this is a program that can work very, very well, magnificently actually, if you are committed to it. And this is no gimmick. It's important that you decide together with your organization that this is something worth investing your time, and then you actually execute on that. It's important that you access the material as soon as possible. Everyone that enrolls, as for step one, gets access to the training courses and can start already prepare, so that come the week of October the 1st, you're already able to raise your questions, participate to office hours, get the most out of this program. Then, next step, I definitely wouldn't wait for the program to start before you register for the exam. As we said, we expect roughly 600 people to take part in this. And if this is true, the capacity of the testing centers might run out fairly quick. So it's important that you sign up as soon as possible. It works on a first come, first serve basis. So once again, I'll give you a few seconds to note down the short link and access it. I'm going to show you as well in a second what it looks like. So what concretely would you face in the moment that you follow this link? You would be prompted to this page. If you're attending Next London and you're already aiming to get certified there, you might not be the most interested person in this course, because apparently you already studied most of it. But you go up here, you create a new account, and you're going to be able to see the list and the updates and locations for the certification. Finally, of course, follow through the course. Make sure that you complete the various courses on Coursera, you do the practice, give your time to revise, take advantage of office hours. I can't stress it enough how important it is not to take it as a lesson to learn aspects, but as a review of stuff that was already learned and digested beforehand. And then, of course, take the exam as soon as possible. Quite straightforward. So again, to reiterate, sign up for the program, commit to it, register for the exam, actually follow through. Great. Now, this being said, I'm gonna see if there's any live question. Okay, so Sonali asks whether the choice of a certification exam date is flexible. Yes, there is. There is flexibility in the sense that you'll be able to access the link that I was showing a moment ago, and you're going to be able to see the location and dates for your examination. Take the one that suits you best. I recommend, if there's any doubt, to communicate to your Google point of reference. Typically, it's a partner development manager or a partner sales manager, somebody like myself with a similar profile that will help you if you're unsure about whether it should be better to take an earlier exam or later, depending on the certification and specification needs of your company. The advice, of course, is the sooner the better, compatibly with your commitments, so that the information is still fresh and you're able to leverage the material the most. There's not a particular duration after the training for you to take the exam. As we said, this is a preparatory and supportive program. It's not something that necessarily is linked to a specific examination. Thank you for the question. Bart asks whether this video and recording will be available. Yes, this will be shared, as my colleagues already answered. There's going to be a program for other certification data engineer. So we really hope so. It will really depend whether this program is a success or not. So it's in your hand as well, in a way. So the idea is to provide something similar. Whether our idea is going to concretize and when exactly is to be defined. But this program runs until the beginning of November, after which we'll assess how it's gone. So you can assume that if it takes place at a later date than that. Sonali questions was addressed in the FAQs, so hopefully there's no doubt. And is it possible to find a full exam test similar to the exam certification? So it is going to be possible, and it's going to be seen in the practice phases of the course. So hopefully this should give you enough insights into exactly what the exam is going to look like and how to prepare for it the best. In the meantime, there's a few additional questions popping through. Ricard asks if there's going to be other planned dates besides October. So as of today, no. This is the one confirmed program. The starting date of October is the one where we're 100% sure that we can guarantee they're going to have these resources. As we said, it's quite a commitment from a number of people. So we want to really make sure that these resources are put to a good use, that you find them useful, that it yields solid certification and participation numbers. Yes, sorry, Gabriele, I'm going to speak slower. So we absolutely want to check whether this program yields good results. in terms of participation and certification. If it does, there are good chances that we'll find a modality to repeat this program. It might be very similar to what we're planning right now, or it might be a different one. So to answer you, Ricard, as of today, there's not another one. It's foreseeable that if the program goes well, these would be repeated. But if you're interested in certifying, your best chance as of today is to attend this batch. Sorry again if I was speaking too quickly. Apologies for that. Filomena asks, she flags that her and a colleague didn't receive emails regarding the certification. They used the link of some other colleagues. So this is something that might be due to a number of reasons. It could be that you weren't nominated earlier by our team of PDMs, partner development managers, or partner sales managers. There's an easy fix for that. Anybody belonging to an organization with, let's say, the email domain of somebody that received this notification has been whitelisted to take part in this program. So what you can do is you can follow this link that we were looking at before, the first green link, to sign up for the program. These links, as we said, it brings you to this page, you enroll, and anybody who has not received these links because for any reason they weren't nominated or they got lost in between the cracks are going to be able to enroll if they belong to an organization that's been whitelisted. So let's say that Fabio.Raimondi at companyaa.com was taking part in this program. Anybody who has the email ending in at companyaa.com is going to be able to enroll in this program. So the answer is yes. Another question coming just a second ago is regarding, again, the availability of material and presentations later on. So to reiterate, yes, you will be able to get this material, not the slides themselves, but the recording of the session, which has all the content and the links. Let's see if there's any new question popping in. I'll give you a few more seconds just in case there's any additional pressing concern or question, something that was not clarified, something that you're curious about. Lukasz asks whether GCP provides vouchers credits for Coursera materials. So for those taking part in this course, yes, you will have access to both Coursera credits, so you're not going to have to pay to study the material online, as well as integrated with Coursera, Quick Labs and Code Labs credits. So you'll be able to study the material and practice on, let's say, the so-called quests, for example, of Quick Labs. Basically, these activities where you perform in an environment, either actual GCP or demo trial environment, specific tasks. You'll be able to do all these without paying. Okay, I see that there's no more question coming in. Just to close, for any additional question that you might have that you've not had time to ask live, you're going to have the possibility to mail this group, partnerkickstart.support@google.com. I repeat, partnerkickstart with 2Ks .support@google.com. You see it on the screen. And we're going to do our best to get your questions answered as fast as possible. In the meantime, if I were to give you any advice, I'll leave you with this. Sign up for the program and register for the exam as soon as possible. This being said, I'll stop presenting. Thank you very much again for joining today or for watching this on demand in a second moment if you didn't have the possibility to attend live. And we're really committed to make this program a success. What we need is your participation, active participation, and your feedback if something's not working or something is actually helping you so that we know that that's a key tenet not to discontinue. So next step, ball is in your park, and hopefully we'll be able to work together through this program. Thank you very much.